Communications 101 Special Occasion Speech. I would like to talk to you about a true hero. The person I am referring to is my dad. My dad served in the United States Navy for 20 years, and even though he never served in a war, showed great heroism. It all began when he was stationed in the Philippines. I was in the 6th grade at the time and decided to go live with him and my stepmom. I remember looking out the plane window and seeing how beautiful the countryside looked as we landed. It wasn't 2 months later I was in class and they pulled me out. They said, "Your dad has been shot and has been rushed to the hospital." It started out with a typical day. My dad woke up, gave me a kiss goodbye, and hurried off to work. My dad's job was to make sure that everybody was doing their job, and he did it very well. This particular day, he was doing his normal duty and came upon an empty post where there should have been someone watching the fence that was guarding the naval base. There was no one there, so my dad got out of his truck to investigate. As he was walking over to the post, he noticed that a guy who was supposed to be guarding it was sleeping. My dad told the guy, "You know I'm going to have to report you for this." And the soldier looked at him and nodded. As my dad turned to go back into his truck, the guy simply reached for his handgun at his hip and fired 2 shots. Unfortunately, both shots hit my dad in the head at point-blank range. My father was laying in his own blood, left to die, and the guy took off. While my dad lay there barely breathing and almost unconscious, he realized that he needed to go and get some help if he were ever to survive. He somehow was able to crawl to the nearest building, which was the high school, and ask for an ambulance. They rushed him to the hospital where they did surgery immediately to remove the bullets that were lodged in his skull. Now, I don't know about you, but this would have been a very hard thing for me to forgive. My dad had to go through months of physical therapy and mental counseling to try and get things back to what seemed somewhat normal. There were many times where he just wanted to give up because it seemed so much easier, but he didn't. You would have thought that an attempted murder charge would have held some type of consequence for the soldier that did this, and it did. By Filipino law, this guy's sentence was that he was to lose his job. That was the punishment for almost killing a man. My father is a hero in my eyes because he found it in his heart to forgive this guy and move on with his life. This has got to be one of the hardest things to do. I mean, the guy almost took my dad's life. He left him scarred and left him deaf in one ear, and yet he was able to forgive this man. There are a lot of heroes in this world, but I don't know too many like my father. I do know that he is my hero and always will be.